What's up, everybody? I'm Michael Chris, 3 years running bestseller at ShineOn. Now I'm the CMO of ShineOn. I wanted to thank you so much for checking out our YouTube video. And if you like this kind of content, I want you to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I hope you enjoy the video. So I'm just going to read it, Kirsta, and then you can take it away. To my wife,
Sure.
when I say I love you more, I don't mean I love you more than you love me. I mean I love you more than the bad days ahead of us. I love you more than any fight we will ever have. I love you more than any obstacle that could try to come between us. I will love you always and forever. Love, your husband.
So first of all, like as you're reading, as you're reading the phrase out, all I'm hearing is "I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you." It's like it's just repeating "I love you" so much. I don't know whether that will give the punch we need that we're looking for the buyers. And another thing with the design side of things here, uh, I think the text definitely needs to be a bit more bigger. Whether you bold it, whether you use the spacing a bit more, like using full left to right and get rid of the rows, that could potentially open up some space so you can get the font bigger. Because the main thing you want to achieve is to get the buyers to be able to read the phrase. If they can't really read the phrase, that can hurt your conversion rate. And especially when you're showing these in the news feed, right? So you can imagine um, the demographic for the buyers that normally buy these products are generally 35, 40 and above, and you can say that for the most part, one most people have trouble reading the smaller font as they get older. Like I know I'm definitely having a lot of trouble, like as I'm getting into my 30s, reading smaller font. So you can imagine people that are in the older demographic also having more trouble reading this. So I would definitely make this a lot larger. And yeah, uh, I think I think sticking to a single palette, like maybe just like this light pastel blue and not having this fade, just so it's clearer. Um, or like I either go for like two shades off black or two shades off white. So like just um, really simple colors, because that'll hit the widest part of the audience. I think that this is somewhere in between, and it's like the color may not hit the widest part of the audience. I think that's all I can contribute for this one. Does anyone else have anything else?
Zappy, you want to go?
Oh, yeah. I'm, mostly what he's already said, though. I think, it's just the contrast of the phrase. The phrase is so important and it's very difficult to see. And you may also find that some of the mock ups are going to lend themselves better for the ad itself, too. While this might be fine for product picture, let's say in the actual feed, if you're using it as the ad, it having a more straight on shot sometimes works a little better. And so, angles can work, but the phrase still has to be able to be read easily. And in this case, it's tough. I think, yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if this is the best way. I have different hunches on things, but even just the phrase itself, I don't mean I love you more than you love me. I mean I love you more than the bad days ahead. I like to start out with more positive things, like
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
yeah. So
Any
like,
fight we'll ever have,
any fight we'll ever have, any cheating that I'm going to do on you,
any obstacle.
you want to start with. I don't think a long list of the negative things that well, I get the sentiment, but maybe at least start with a couple positive things if you're going to kind of go that route. But I think some consolidation could probably be done there too, like to Kirsten's point.
I think that's a good point.
All right.
Anything else, Zappy?
No, Jim.
What do you got, Jim?
All right. So I would limit the font choices. It almost looks like there's 4 separate fonts being used. Possibly the top one is the same, and then they just italicized wife, and possibly they just bolded and italicized the love your husband. but it almost looks like I'm back in like the 1990s from a font style, and it's like a typewriter style almost. So I don't know if that's what they were going for, but I think there's a reason why Hallmark makes every wife and daughter and thing like curly Q, like the very scripty written out. So I would, kind of fall in line with that. And then for the to my, the phrase, and the love your husband, I would choose the same font. It looks like the phrase and the love your husband is a sans serif, whereas the top is a serif font. So it's a little incongruent as well. I would lose the rose because it doesn't tie into the message or anything else. It's just like, here's a random picture of a rose. The rose can work. I'm not saying don't ever use a rose in the background, but if you're going to have a rose in the design, it needs to tie in either the rose itself and then the necklace piece of a pendant actually lays on the petals. So it's like a laying there, or if it's going to be off the side of that, it needs to tie in with the phrase so that there's a purpose for why the rose is there, in my opinion. I think I actually had a different reaction to what Zappy had, as far as I agree with him when you said make it positive at the front. I was more confused after the first 3 lines, because it's like, when I say I love you more, but I don't mean I love you more than you love me, I do mean this. And I'm like, so wait, you just had an argument with yourself while you're telling the person you love them. So that to me was a little confusing. It's like, why? Yeah, it's a little, it doesn't flow. So I don't necessarily mind a repetitive phrase if it's going to lead somewhere. So instead of saying, when I love you, I don't mean I mean, I would just say, I love you more than you love me. Or skip that one. I love you more than the bad days ahead of you. I love you more than any fight we will ever have. I love you more than any obstacle that could try to come between us. I will love you forever and always. That type of repetition sort of, it builds on itself, because I didn't get in the way in the first 3 lines. And that would just be something that I would test, as far as is a repetitive phrase something the market wants, or is it something where I just need to, not have that. But I could see that sort of cadence build on itself and have some success.
My biggest thing is this just looks cheap. Like the whole thing, like this fade here, this clip art rose, the 3 different fonts. I mean, like, you're pulling away from the perceived value of the actual necklace. It cheapens literally the entire thing. It looks like, and by the way, this is not to disparage whoever created this. I mean, you're on the right track, but it looks like this was almost made in like Microsoft Word, like with
that's what I was getting at. Like Word Perfect back in the day.
Yeah, it's like, so for me, it just, the whole design itself feels super cheap. What I would rather see, I actually think the fix for this is pretty freaking simple too. Pick one color on the background, ditch the rose, and pick one font. One color, one font, ditch the rose. And if like it really comes down to it, I would rather see you just have the greeting and then the phrase. I'm not kidding. I'd rather see that. That would be better than this, I think, because this other stuff cheapens it, and that's the last thing you want. Hey, Michael here again. Thank you so much for checking out today's video. If you like the content, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and there's one more thing I want you to do. Check out the links in the description below. I want you to look at the link to ShineOn.com, where you can sign up and become a seller with us today. It literally takes 60 seconds, and it could change your life. Secondly, I want you to go to our Facebook group. It's the most engaged e-commerce group on the planet. We're constantly sharing important tips, tricks, and things like that can help you on your seller journey and level up your e-commerce game. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope you have a great one. Take care.